Hello, my name is Nick Stavist. I'm Olo, Thothio, Code in the Cosmos, sending you heart, love, and energy. Okay, so today my topic is spiritual sickness. This is a very interesting topic because most people do not understand how sickness relates to the mind and the spirit. So the first thing I wrote down is there is no sickness if you truly see spiritually. So this is true because there is no sickness in truth. And the sickness that does appear in the world is only happens because you believe that the body can become sick. And if you truly see spiritually, you see the nature of this world is illusion, and the spirit world, or spirit, love, heaven, that is what reality is. And this is but illusion, this world. So our beliefs about ourself, a belief that we are a body, for example, can make us sick. A belief that we are victimized as a body get you sicker. So sickness is born from the mind. And it is not born from our external situations. I will explain this in more depth later in the video when I speak of why we get sick and healthy. But sickness is born from the mind, and so is healing. Through the Holy Spirit, through the mind, we are healed. Through love, through realizing, who we truly are as spirit is how we become healed. Sickness is always pushing us to evolve, transform, and it's a driving force. So everything in this world is in some way a driving force. Our guidance system, more specifically, is a driving force. And when we get sick, it often means that something has gone wrong in our mind. Not our brain, but our mind. Mind is one. There is one mind. And there is only one mind. There are not separate minds. And this is when miracles happen, is when we realize that there is only one mind and our minds are all connected. So when you get sick, you must ask yourself a few questions. First of all, what is the source of this sickness in my mind? Was I beating myself up about stuff? Was I feeling like a victim? Was I feeling as if I was a sinful being? Which, by the way, you never are. You can make mistakes on the level of form, but our spirit, our true essence, is always divine love and perfection. So, sickness is a driving force, and it's part of our guidance system to recognize things in the body as a message from the Holy Spirit it's telling us to transform something about our mind. And sickness is best healed through the mind. So if you recognize these issues of the mind, maybe you think you're ugly, maybe you think you're a terrible person, maybe you have no confidence, and maybe you have no clarity about who you are. These things must be looked upon and forgiven. We must transform and learn from our mistakes. But sickness is best healed through the mind, and it is only healed through the mind. You may think that these physical medicines are what heal you, but I will speak of this later, physical medicine. But you have to recognize what the issue is in your mind and heal that. As far as our physical structure goes, we are made of 4 components which are related to the mind. Our energy, our emotion, our thoughts, and our actions. These are all one in some sense. But they are 4 components that actually, if they are at a peak, if they reach a peak, if your energy is blissful, if your emotions are joyful, if your thoughts are peaceful, and your actions are righteous, that's enlightenment. That's healing. That's immunity from sickness, if you so choose. There are enlightened beings that still have gotten sick, but this is for another reason. It's not because their mind is at fault. It's more because they are consciously choosing to be sick for some way of teaching that they are not their body. For example, Sri Yukteswar had cancer. He died of cancer, and he resurrected to show people he was not a body. These 4 components, though, are very important and are interlinked, intertwined, and are one system. So your energy, we are beings of energy. We are mostly made of energy. Our atoms are 99.9% empty space, or energy. You can upgrade your energy by doing Kriya Yoga and Pranayama, Tai Chi even. We do have to take into account that we are mostly energy, though. This is not what we see with the physical eye, what we perceive with it, but it is the scientific truth of this world. So we have to take into account that our energy can be pure, or it can be sick. You can have sickness that comes from your energy being sick. So ways to cleanse your aura is something that you should research. Things like Reiki, things like sound healing, sound baths. Even music can help. 432 hertz meditations can help restore our cells in our body. But a lot of people don't realize that they're carrying around a lot of energy that is not theirs. They're doing things out of trying to impress others because those other people have given them some kind of energy that is driving them around. So you need to declare and find a way to cleanse your energy. You need to declare that my energy is mine. I choose to only live with my energy and cleanse out anything that is not mine and no longer serving me. So your energies must be blissful, and your energies can be blissful. That's what energy can be. It can be a blessing. Your emotions are very linked to your energy as well, and they're all interlinked. So feelings of, grief, for example, sadness, can cause sickness. It just makes sense because even scientifically, our emotions, when we're at our happiest, at our most peaceful, our immune systems are at their strongest. This is a scientific fact. And the reason being is because it's our mind. Our emotions are a component of our mind. Our thoughts are part of the picture as well, and are obviously very linked to our emotions, but often people don't realize how our thoughts are related to our energy and our actions as well. It all begins in the mind. We do not do something without thinking of doing it. We do not say something without in some way thinking of it first. So if our thoughts are driving us around, we must become clear in our head, clear in our mind. We have to have our thoughts aligned with peace, for we make our best decisions when we are peaceful. This is also a scientific fact. And our actions must be righteous if we were to not become sick. If we are not righteous, we may gather some dark energy or some guilt emotion or some thoughts of either I'm a terrible person and I accept that, or I'm a terrible person and I don't accept that. So really these four components are very intertwined and are connected to our mind. And they all must reach a peak if we are to dispel this sickness. So I also wrote down, the root of all sickness is fear, guilt, shame, and hate. These are expressed through actions, thoughts, emotions, and energy as well. But these four things are really one: fear, guilt, shame, and hate. You can say ignorance, you can say grief, you can say all these other things too, of course. They are all expressions of the ego, letting the ego drive you around instead of spirit. It takes a lot more effort to use this body, to use this brain, to use this heart when you're living out of the ego. When you live from spirit, it becomes a lot more effortless, and like you don't really need as much, but you have it all. Thoughts create your reality. Spirit, the Holy Spirit, can be expressed through you. And I don't push you actually. I suggest that you forever look into the light, the inner soul light, the God love. Focus your mind on it. Focus your attention and your intention on spirit, on the one, the source. And your life will manifest from that elixir, from that source. The reality, the love. For love is all that is and all that ever will be. Healing happens through forgiveness. I'll explain what forgiveness is to me, what advanced forgiveness is. It is when you recognize what everything truly is. When you realize that we are spirit, everything is spirit. Love is in all things. It is when you see the innocence in all, no matter what. That's actually what wisdom is. Instead of stooping down to the level where you feel bitterness in your heart towards something. Because that is an unreality and an illusion of perception to feel bitterness within you. To feel the ego. To feel ego-driven. To be ego-driven. Forgiveness heals all. And that's just a true fact. If you practice it, you will learn that it heals all things. To carry bitterness within yourself is to create these aches and pains in your body to remind yourself unconsciously that there's something that's gone wrong in your mind. The mind is the bridge to the spirit. The Holy Spirit is the bridge to God. The reason you get sick and healthy, I've basically explained that already. But maybe I can expand on it a little more. That bitterness within you is what creates the sickness. And this body is what is an expression, an extension of your mind in a sense. In the sense that if you don't deal with issues at the level of mind, when you feel them at the level of your mind, if you're ignorant to healing those, if you just try to forget your problems, not forgive, but forget, there's a difference, you know. If you do that, that mind that you have is powerful. It is a creative thing. And that whatever your driving force is, whatever, that if it's that bitterness, then that will manifest in your body and in your life. If you feel bitter, you won't have as many friends. If you don't have many friends, you may become lonely. If you become lonely, you might become sad. If you become sad, you might become sick. It's just a vicious cycle to live in the ego mind. Guidance system is what I've been talking about as well. Your guidance system is trying to tell you to do what you love. To respect yourself by surrounding yourself with love in the world. People that love. Animals that love even. And doing what you love doing. Even if that means walking away from, people that might seem to be great friends of you but are really bringing you down in some sense, you know? There's a level of self-respect that must be met, and you have to respect your frequency. You have to respect and protect your love. In the world. If something is disturbing your peace, you have to walk away. There are times when you must stay and heal the situation, if that's what's righteous, because there's nothing really written in stone. But for the most part, you have to be a little selfish and respect yourself. That's the way of spirit. It's to forgive and be happy within yourself. Do what you can to make yourself happy and healthy, because they're really the same thing. Physical medicine and the unconscious mind. So I was going to talk about physical medicine. What I mean by that is plant medicine and whatever other medicines there might be. I'm not really a big fan of the pharmaceutical drugs, really, but as far as medicine goes, it only works because your unconscious mind is accepting that as the antidote for your sickness. Without accepting this healing from an external force, you would never become healthy. But since we know that this medicine does something, it works. But really what it often does is just cover up the issue that is in the mind. And if we just mask it, if, for example, you have back pain and you take some Advil or some ibuprofen or some whatever, you're really masking that pain, and the source of that pain is in the mind. So are you taking that to get rid of your pain, really? Or are you just taking it to get rid of your physical pain? Because they're both connected. If you do take some Advil or something, I don't blame you, but you should be dealing with that at the level of mind. Where is the source of this coming from? You know? Watching the sickness without judgment and meditating on health. So, when you are sick, if you do get sick, which happens when you believe that this body can be sick, which really this body cannot even happen at all. It cannot exist at all. It is not here. It isn't real. Heaven is real. The spirit is real. This is a stretch for most of you, but this is what I go by. This is what the books that I've read and many spiritual sources that feel true genuinely say. So you're watching the sickness without judgment. So if you are sick, there's a little something we call fighting sickness or fighting disease. This is the wrong way to look at it. You don't want to fight it. If you fight it, it's a lot like a dream. Have you ever noticed when you're dreaming and you start to screw around with people, you start to be violent in your dreams, you never really win. There's always someone that comes along that's stronger than you. And if you do win the fight in your dream, there's always guilt behind it. So you don't really ever win the fight. You can't win a fight. That's just true. Fights cannot be won. The way that you heal sickness, though, is by watching the sickness without judgment. Not judging whether it be leading to something bad or something good. You just kind of accept how it is. Accept that it isn't there. And even trying to make friends with the sickness in some sense is a good thing. I don't mean that you're loving the sickness, because that manifests more of it as well. Fearing the sickness manifests more of it too. But if you feel neutral towards something that, like a sickness, feel neutral towards it, that is not creative. It does not create more of it. To simply realize it is not there. To simply realize and forgive that. To see the spirit, to see the innocence in it. To see that that is life. That sickness is life. Parasites, for example, are life. They're a manifestation of lower frequencies, but they're still life. And I think that having some compassion for this life is a good thing. Realizing that, it deserves a life too, but just not in my body. Because if it's killing, it deserves to be somewhere else or not existing at all. The spirit in it will always exist, and the form does not really matter. It is just that the form is not there, and that spirit and the innocence is always there. That is what heals. And meditating on health. This is what Jesus used to do. I read this in Jesus, My Autobiography by Tina Louise Spalding. I read this book, and it talked about how Jesus used to meditate a lot, and he used to meditate on health in the body. So he would just focus his mind on health. He would focus on a certain spot of his body and focus on how good it feels. If something feels bad, if he has an ache right here, for example, feels the rest of the body, uses his intuition, feels where it feels good. Where does it feel good? Oh, right here it feels good. Bring this energy over here. Heal it, take from other parts of the body, your energy, use your intention, and just find a way, however you can, to bring healing. Use your intuition, trust your mind, trust the spirit. Even pray for guidance while you do this. And bring healthy energy, healthy thoughts, if your heart hurts, maybe you suffer from heart attacks. Then you could just simply focus on, I love my heart. And then feel into that with an emotion. Pray for an energetic blessing and act out of that, meditate to slow your heart rate down. Act towards that too. This is what heals. So, there are many ways to heal through meditation, but it doesn't really matter because healing is one, and it comes from one thought, one idea, one truth. And that is that love is all. So this is Olo, Thothio, Code in the Cosmos, sending you heart, love, and energy. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess this is a good time to make this video because the coronavirus is happening, so I hope that this inspires people to heal themselves and others, and share this video. I love you all, and have a blessed life. Peace.